This country's refugee policy is currently before the court. This according to National Security Minister Stuart, who addressed concerns raised by members of the opposition about Venezuelan immigrants to this country. Khrystal Wilson has more in this report.
When will government revise its migrant refugee policy? This was the question from the opposition posed to National Security Minister Stuart during Friday's sitting of the House of Representatives. In response, Minister Young said government does in fact have a policy, one which is currently before the court.
The government has a migrant refugee policy. The government's migrant refugee policy is currently sub judice and currently before the courts as a substantial action and core matter to be determined before the courts, and we can say nothing further at this stage.
The opposition pressed for further information, with MP David Lee zeroing in on the recent issue involving 26 Venezuelan nationals who entered this country illegally last weekend. The UNC MP said among those ordered to return to Venezuela was a 4-month-old baby. But Minister Young argued there's need for authentication of information being circulated.
That we question and we have concerns about how things are just being floated, including in the courts. How many children, who are the parents, etc. How do we know it's a 4-month-old baby? What are the documents? Where's the authentication for it, as opposed to anecdotal questions?
Minister Young also said the 26 Venezuelans were escorted and not deported by immigration officials as being suggested in the public domain. Minister Young confirmed he will meet virtually with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro soon, which is a continuation of meetings that started months ago. He made it clear he was not summoned to any meeting.
Months ago, I held a meeting. I led a delegation on behalf of national security with the equivalent Minister of Internal Security Affairs in Venezuela, who's their equivalent of national security, and his team. And we continue those discussions. So this meeting is yet another one of those meetings. We have had many of those meetings. The last meeting was a virtual meeting because of COVID. This meeting will be a virtual meeting.
16 children and 10 adults entered Trinidad via pirogue at the Lucero Beach on Tuesday and have been confined to state quarantine, while a legal challenge over their deportation is being determined by a High Court judge. The migrants will be required to stay at the Chaguaramas heliport for the next 14 days until the court makes a final determination on their status in Trinidad and Tobago. Khrystal Wilson, TTT News.